Hi, handsome. Wow, you're already in Abuja. That's nice. Oh, you're getting ready for your meeting. Wow, okay there. All right, bye. Love you. That wasn't Phillips, right? No, that's just a guy I met recently. Don't worry, it's just a backup plan. It's nothing serious.
Really, a backup plan? Come on, girl.
Hello, it is wonderful to have you join us on the program today, Hot Button. Every plan for an option is already a foreseen possibility of an impending failure in one's present endeavor. My name is Johnny Ode, and with me on Hot Button today are
Josephine Egwake
and
Ketija lifted me up.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Today we are looking at a very, very delicate topic, and it is what we refer to as Plan B. Now we are going to be looking at the topic having a backup plan or Plan B in quotes in a relationship. What do you consider to be Plan B or a backup plan in a relationship?
I'll see a plan B in a relationship to be someone who you are anticipating to be a potential future partner if the current relationship you are fails. So it's more like an anticipated potential future partner in the event of failure of a current relationship.
Anticipated potential, which means you are not in a relationship with the person, but you're hoping just in case this present one fails. All right, Ja, what do you consider to be Plan B in a relationship?
All right. I think Plan B is having an alternative if peradventure the existing relationship fails. So it's a kind of, having this at the back of my mind that this might not actually work, and I have something else that I would, just take to cool off my mind if this one eventually didn't work out. So Plan B is having an alternative if the present relationship did not work out or did not just end as expected.
An alternative. Now, it brings me to the question, is it ideal to have an alternative relationship, a standby relationship, in case your present relationship fails?
To me, I think it's ideal, to have a backup relationship or an alternative. This is because when it comes to trust, when it comes to more like you believing in someone, no matter what it is, you should definitely have at least a backup plan. For instance, we are faced, or this word currently is, we're in a place where you hardly trust people, okay? And you feel, having at the back of your mind that this thing is definitely going to happen, it's a one step to healing already. Like you already know that there are times or this relationship is going to go this way or go that way, okay? So I feel you just having that at the back of your mind and keeping people around you. And mind you, this backup we are talking about are people who, there are people who you like, obviously, but for one or two reasons, just because you're in a current relationship, that is why you're not with them. So you just keep these people, you still talk to them, check up on them one-on-one, and then they are just there in the picture.
We will get back to that. Tell us, is it ideal to have an alternative or a standby relationship in case the present one fails?
Plan B is very important in every endeavor that every individual engages himself in, but in the case of relationship, it has a detrimental situation. There is this adage among my people, the Igbo tribe, that says, "Adionye shiwara miri selagi delu." It means you can't tell your neighbor to boil a hot water for you because you are going to fall down from a tree. You understand? So it is not ideal to have a Plan B in a relationship. What constitutes a good relationship is, number one, trustworthiness, and number two, sincerity. And if you have a Plan B, that means you are going void, or you're going contrary to the things that constitute a good relationship. That is, you lack what is called trustworthiness. So it is not ideal to have a Plan B in a relationship.
Wow, it is not ideal to have a Plan B in a relationship. But I believe that people don't just get into plan B. Even in business, in every other things, you must have seen the potential that this thing is likely not to succeed, and hence you start thinking of an alternative to make to make up for whatever future loss that may arise from this present one. Now that makes me wonder, what reasons would make one have a plan B in a relationship?
The first thing I would say is fear. Okay, fear is the first reason, or the main purpose people get a backup plan.
Okay.
And fear in the sense that you don't want to be heartbroken, you don't want to be left alone if peradventure this relationship does not work out. Okay, it builds self-confidence. Okay, when more than one or two people admires you, okay, it builds your self-confidence. So and aside that, we find cases where you have invested a lot of things, okay, into that relationship, and you feel this is probably not going anywhere. Even when you trust this individual, even when this individual is loyal, okay. So I just feel it's the fact that you don't just want to be left alone, because when you talk about trust, there are people who are loyal this minute, and the next minute they are not loyal, okay. Then you see people who are just loyal based on what they want to get from you, or what they are getting from you at that point. That if those things are no longer there, the loyalty goes, okay. So at that point you start thinking. So those are some reasons people want to go in or have a backup plan at the end of the day.
Okay, so fear is one of the reasons that could make someone have a backup plan in a relationship. All right, Ja, what's your take on that?
Actually, there is possibility of having plan B, but the antiquity of a relationship shouldn't have a backup plan at mind, because that time I think everything is moving smoothly. But I concur to the idea that says, when a relationship is becoming brutal, when the guy tries to prove his masculinity by beating the feminine gender involved, that person should have a plan B. But I'm saying that the time to have a plan B should be when, circumstances that might actually lead a relationship to end up disastrously comes in. That is when you have a plan B. For example, what I said, when a relationship becomes brutal, when a man is beating a woman in a relationship, you have to end it up. You understand? You have to have a backup plan. And also, when you have seen that what you expect from the man is not what you are seeing. For example, you want to end up with this man as a prospective husband. Now, when you have seen that all those potentials that you were seeing in him is no longer what you are seeing now, it is also ideal to have a plan B. But it shouldn't come at the inception of a relationship. It should come when all these circumstances, all these negative circumstances are being seen in a relationship.
So when
at that point, when you are seeing those things, to me, you're not having a plan B already. Okay, that is you ending that relationship and going into a relationship. Plan B is me having a relationship with you and having an alternative. Okay, because at that point, if anybody is being brutal, you end that relationship immediately. It's not a time of thinking or negotiating for a plan B. A plan B is that person you are talking to, you are spending time with, but then you also have this serious relationship that is out there. Okay, so plan B and plan A go simultaneously.
No, the issue is that you see, when it comes to brutality in a relationship, it doesn't just come instantaneously. They give signs.
Okay,
you understand? Somebody cannot just start beating you up in a norm. It doesn't just start instantaneously. They give signs that, okay, I'm looking at this person, the character that is beating now, it might lead him, beating me. That is the time you have to plan, okay, let me have a plan B. You cannot just start instantly like that. So the time of having plan B is when you are seeing all these circumstances trying to ingress into a relationship. You have to have a backup plan.
But she said at that point it's more, she's trying to say it's more like it's late.
I'm saying
at that point that is even the exit point. It's not the time to start planning. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, the issue is this. Okay. The issue is this. For example,
okay,
I'm living cool with a man, I'm living cool with a woman, as the case may be. At a point you start seeing something that is not right. You start seeing something that is that is wrong. At the back of your mind, you begin to think that this thing might lead this man, beating me, or this thing might lead this woman, going contrary to the rules that should, constitute a good relationship. At this time, it has not started. It is ingressing a little.
There are signs.
There are signs to it. That is the time you have. That is the time you should have, a backup.
That fear
plan.
Coming.
Yes.
Okay.
The fear. You have this insight in you that this fear would come. Not that it has come.
Okay.
But you have this thing in you that this fear would come. So that is the time you have to, start up having a kind of plan B, something in you.
So at the point where you start seeing all these signs,
yes,
like this person is likely to be violent,
yes,
is likely to be abusive,
yes,
is likely to cause harm to me, that's when you start considering plan B.
Sure.
But that's contrary to what you said, because you said from the inception. And if you believe that, is that not a plan to already fail? Like you are building a failure already, and you know that, hey, as I'm going here, I know I will fail, so let me have an option.
No, when I said at the inception, you already know. I mean, if I am going out with this is my plan A, okay, and we are talking, all right, we know ourselves. But then this is someone, and this is a plan B who have been asking me out. Okay.
And it's equally someone you would also like to be with in future.
Someone I also want to be with, okay? So it's not as if you're already building to failure. No. You're spending your communion, your time is still on this person solely. However, you are still just keeping this person.
But there will be no equal judgment, because if you're more with this person and then you're no more with, how do you assess them equally?
The assessment will not, remember, you're not going with two of them at the same time.
Okay.
You are going with this person. If this one has not ended, there's no way you will come to this one. This has to go first before you come to this.
But you know that this whole idea signifies a kind of unsatisfactory being of man, in the sense that you are not satisfied with the current situation.
Humans are unsatiable in the first place. We don't satisfy human beings.
When you are in a relationship, when you are fully convinced that yes, I am in a relationship, you have to be satisfied. You have to be satisfied with the person you are being in a relationship with. You see, before you have this person as the one I'm dating, there should be preliminaries that have occurred first.
The moment you have known the person and all that.
There should be preliminaries that have occurred, of which it will give you the full conviction, yes, I am going to date this person. Remember, it is not just something that happens instantaneously. It is a process. It is a process. So in the process of doing this, hence you have seen things that are not inconsistent with the ideal something of relationship. You have to start having a plan B. It is not at the inception.
All right, I know you guys have so much more to say. It's been hot button, and we are looking at having backup plan or plan B in a relationship. I'll be talking with Ja, and I'll be talking with Josephine on the program today. Now, moving forward, we want to look at what benefits do we have to gain, or what are the benefits of having a plan B in a relationship?
It still boils down to the reason why we had a plan B in the first place.
Okay.
And that is fear. Okay. Fear of being heartbroken. So you having this plan B, if this relationship ends, you have someone to fall back to. It's more like you having a second choice. So it's more like you having someone to fall back to. Okay. It's even the heartbreak, you won't feel it that much because you already have someone you've been talking to. So this person knows. So it's more like an healing process. You get someone to heal with, you get someone to still talk to at the end of the day.
So it makes one heal faster? Is that what you're trying to say? And then the heartbreak doesn't hurt as much as it should.
If it was imagine you putting all your time into this thing, your time, your money, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and you've been going all along with this person, with this only plan A. If we're saying plan B is not good, you're going with a plan A all along for 5 years, and the person leaves you. You're going to think of your time, you're going to think of your energy, you're going to think of everything you've put into. But then when you have this this plan B already, your thinking tends to reduce, because you know what, I just have to move on.
Anyway, I'm going to come right back to you. I want to ask you a serious question based on what you have said, but let me get back to Ja. So, what are the negative effects of having a plan B in a relationship?
You know, let me use this simple analogy to answer you. You see, when someone has 2 eggs and you are playing with one, and if that one egg might, be exposed to some things that might make it to crash, you will not actually protect it with full commitment because you have an extra one. So what I'm trying to say is this: it will make you to not have a full commitment in the existing relationship because you already have a plan B. So there is no full commitment. And also, you see, when you have a plan B, it shows a kind of lack of trustworthiness. You are not also sincere. Relationship is also, it has to deal with a kind of singularity. You are committed to this single person, but you have a divided attention now. You see, you are thinking about this person, you are thinking about this person, because you are emotionally attached to both. Because he is your plan B, this one is your plan A. So it will make you to be, divided emotionally. It will make you to be divided, when we are thinking about the 2 parties, you understand? So the negative impact of having a plan B is much more higher than the positive impact.
Well, that takes me to the question that I wanted to ask. Now, you have made plans for plan B. What guarantees do you have that plan B is going to work better than plan A? And if plan B fails, are you going to look for plan C?
There are always plans.
Oh my God. All right, let's hear you. Let's hear your plans.
So when we're talking about this plan B, you having a plan B does not mean you continually have plans, okay? It all starts with you strategizing what went wrong in the previous relationship, okay? And you trying to make amends. You trying to work on yourself. Mind you, I don't just wake up and start a plan B. I have probably seen I've probably seen things with this individual that will make me think of having a plan B. Okay? And there's some unserious plan B. These people are just there. All right? And if this plan A fails, it's like you dusting whatever. You know what? I am ready at this point. Okay? So you have to work, you have to re-strategize, you have to take time to look at yourself. What did I not do right? Or what did I do wrong? Okay. So it comes from both ways. You have to look at yourself. What did I do wrong? What did I not do well? So you make amends and work with this plan. And
then you try to correct that when you get on with plan B.
Yeah, when you get on with plan B.
Well, having said that, Ja, I'm beginning to look at what she's saying and I'm wondering, but come to think of it, is there a point in one's relationship that it becomes very obvious that we must resort to plan B?
You see, it is necessary at some point to have a plan B. Like we established initially, we said that when a relationship becomes, brutal, when it becomes a thorn in the flesh, you understand, that is when we have to think on having a plan B. But however, whatsoever that is making you, whatsoever that is, prompting you to have a plan B, try to sort it out, give it in your best and putting in solutions or bringing in solutions to whatsoever that might cause you to have a plan B. Then, if all your effort is being, rendered void, you can try to, find a plan, another plan that may be called plan B. But however, let us try to, sort things out at that instant point, that let us just try to eradicate things that will make us to have a plan B, you understand? But when you have put in your best and you see that, no, this thing is not working and the potentials you are actually, seeing is not what you intended to see, I think that person can go ahead and have a plan B. I'm not against that.
And if I want to come in there, I can start a relationship with you today and I start noticing thoughts. I start noticing things about you. So meaning if I start this relationship today and I have a backup plan today, it has been from the existence.
No, that means the relationship was not built sincerely. See,
It
like I
was.
said earlier, before I become, somebody's before I start dating someone,
Okay.
you understand?
Yeah.
That means I have become friends with you. I've known what you can do. We've become acquainted with each other. You understand? So bringing in another character means that individual was hiding his true self while we were still friends. You understand? So if a relationship was actually built with all manner of sincerity, I'm not sure that at that inception, at that time of starting up relationship, you'll be seeing something that will make you to have a plan B. No, it can't happen. I am not sure of that. It can't happen. But at a certain point, we are human beings and we are prone to change. Once you see that person is changing negatively and that person tends to bring in disaster in your relationship, I think plan B is necessary at that point.
But I was beginning to wonder, if you start noticing whatever would make you consider another person on the side, why not just go
end
ahead
it?
and then end the relationship? What's necessary? It means plan B is
Because
not
plan
even
B-
necessary right from the beginning.
Which
Don't we
we
think
can
that?
also
No.
start plan B at
What
the
I'm
beginning.
saying, should there even be plan B? If I've seen whatever is going to make me to say, let me hold this one here and consider, don't you even think
See,
at that point
plan B-
there is either even a message to young people by Ellen G. White says it. It is better to have a what? A broken relationship than a broken marriage. So, what is even the reason of having plan B? If I have seen this person that I may not be able to run with this person fast from that beginning. Because the problem with we young people is we don't take time before we get into relationship.
And
That
If we take time to know an individual, we will know this is somebody I can get along in a relationship with. With that, there will be no need for plan B.
I feel the mistake we make at times is the fact that we tend to make excuses.
Hmm.
For me as a lady, I don't give up on people like that. Okay, and when it comes to relationship, when it comes to issues in relationship, you are someone who doesn't give up. You see signs to be like, okay, it will change. You see signs. So that's why, like what you said, why don't we end it immediately when we see signs of having or thinking of keeping a plan B? Because we are hoping that things might get better.
Good. And then hoping doesn't mean at that point we can just get into the relationship. It means it has given you another opportunity to sit back, observe very clear, and then mark your horizons and know that, hey, this limit, if it gets here, I may not be able to proceed.
Definitely.
Which means we as young people need to spend time knowing the person we are going to get into a
First.
relationship with before we get into
Indulging
that
in it.
relationship. With that, we will not be needing
A
a
plan
plan
B.
B. Having said that, does having a plan B not automatically mean one is being unfaithful?
To me, there's only place where I would define being faithful and unfaithful, and that is in marriage. So if we are not married, then the act of being unfaithful, unfaithful or faithful, it's debatable.
The issue is this, there is this adage too, I like, speaking adage. There is the adage that says, Ejia market walanka, which means you cannot learn how to use left hand when you are old. That means you cannot just learn how to do things when you are matured, Once you are not faithful in a relationship, there is this high tendency that you are not going to be faithful in marriage. That is it.
Okay.
When you are not faithful in your academics, there is this high tendency that you will not be faithful in whatsoever profession you find yourself in the labor market. That is it. So, plan B in a relationship, when everything is soft, going smooth, when everything is sound, if you have a plan B, it will suggest that you are not faithful. Because the attention that should be given to this person of plan A, you are dividing it to person of plan B. That is unfaithfulness.
Okay, now, bringing it back to you, what can we do to eliminate the thoughts of plan B, even right from the beginning?
I think what I would do is for me to know, am I ready to go into this person? Okay, if you are not who I want, if you are not who I want, at least about 85 or 90%, oh, I know that I can, no matter what, I can leave everything for this person, then I shouldn't.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hold it there. What can we do to eliminate the thoughts of plan B in a relationship?
Let us try to be committed, and let us try to, like we said earlier, spend time with somebody before indulging in a relationship. Let us be patient. Let us patiently wait, before we indulge in a relationship, so that these unforeseen circumstances will be hindered now.
Will be hindered now. And then I would also like us to know that one thing with relationship is we cannot do it all by ourselves. We cannot say it is by our efforts that these things work. Except the Lord builds, a builder builds in vain. Now, if we are in a relationship and we involve God in a relationship, God should rather be our what? Plan B. Because number one, in that relationship, we will develop a positive mental attitude towards the person we have as our partner. And then number two, we must indulge faith, believing that all things work together what? For good. So when we build our faith in that relationship, knowing that plan B is in the hands of God to make it work, definitely everything will work out right. And right from the beginning, we will not be needing any plan B. And if there is any best plan B, who is plan A and plan everything, it is our faith in God, believing that whatever thing we get in must work just right. So it is on this note that we leave you today on the program Hot Button. We do hope you keep a date with us next time as we come your way again with another very pressing topic that will be beneficial to you. God bless you for staying with us today. Bye.